Good evening, race fans. Really afternoon, but we'll just leave it at evening. It doesn't matter, you're gonna watch this when you watch this, so what time it is here is kind of irrelevant. Welcome to another one of these more conversational videos that we do here sometimes, which I decided I'm going to call RDC Coffee Breaks, or just Coffee Breaks, if you are so inclined. And today I want to talk about one driver in particular, and that is the so-called Rookie of the Year, Isack Hadjar. And you might be wondering, Rookie of the Year says who? Says I say so. I think he's the Rookie of the Year, okay? If you don't agree, you don't agree, but that's my take so far. Because Hadjar is kind of in a very particular and precarious position right now. And that was a beautiful alliteration. Look at that. Herman Melville, the days are counted. Isack Hadjar has been having a fantastic season so far. Admittedly, the start of it was a bit of a disaster, but he recovered really well, and now look at him, best rookie of them all. So for a quick recap, in Australia, the first race of the season, Hadjar qualified P11, best of all the rookies, but during the formation lap, he spun out at turn 2 because of the wet conditions, crashing out and failing to start the race. And of course, we all saw how distressed he was about it afterwards. He walked back to the paddock in tears, and thank God for Mr. Anthony Hamilton's intervention, and I will get back to that in a bit. And already by the next race in China, he already seemed much stronger, qualifying P7, again ahead of Yuki Tsunoda, his then teammate. He did finish outside the points, but still, that was a strong quali, and I think that encouraged him to continue to do better going forwards. And by Japan, we're already seeing even better results, qualifying P7 again and finishing the race in P8. And he called it a perfect race. So already we can see that Isack gained a lot of his confidence back. He then had a few slightly weaker races, finishing sort of at the end of the points or outside the points. But in Monaco, he was back with an insane P6 in qualifying, and then, of course, in the race. And then there was the P7 finish last week in Spain. So basically, his form has been absolutely peak lately. He's been on a point streak since, I believe, Imola, and has consistently outperformed both Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. My man has scored points in 5 of the last 6 races. Take your eyes off Antonelli, bitch. This man is the man. Just kidding. I love you, Kimmy. I do. So again, huge shout out to Mr. Anthony Hamilton for doing what he did in Australia. Going up to Isack after he returned from the crash, giving him a hug, giving him words of encouragement, essentially treating him like he would treat Lewis, or, a son. I truly believe that if it wasn't for that kindness, we would not be seeing these results in Isack right now. Especially when he did not get the same support from his own team. In fact, Helmut Marko was saying that his reaction after the crash was embarrassing. He's a rookie in his first ever F1 race and he crashed out on the formation lap, and you're saying he's embarrassing himself? Bitch, you're embarrassing yourself with this treatment of your own drivers. Genuinely, if Helmut Marko has no haters, it's because I'm dead. Truly. I mean, this kind of thing, not just crashing out, but also not receiving adequate support from your team, and in fact being berated by your team for being shaken for the situation, is the kind of thing that could easily shatter a rookie driver. It's the kind of thing that would have easily made Isack get in his head about it and spiral and just kind of lose all of his confidence in himself. So I truly think it's thanks to Mr. Hamilton that this didn't happen. It goes to show the importance of showing kindness to other people, even if they're technically your rivals or your son's rivals. Also, I think there's something so beautiful about Isack's idol being Lewis Hamilton and now getting to race alongside him, and also having his support and the support of his family. I also think it's nice because Hamilton is the first and only black driver ever in Formula 1, and Isack Hadjar is the first ever Arab driver in Formula 1, being French-Algerian. And he himself said, "I'm the first Arab driver on the planet to ever make it to Formula 1. It's huge, but it went under the radar. No one cares, but it's huge." It makes me tremendously sad that Isack thinks nobody cares. So naturally, I'll be shouting it from the rooftops. Isack Hadjar is the first ever Arab driver in Formula 1, and it is huge, actually. But either way, I imagine that for him, seeing somebody like Lewis Hamilton compete as a kid would have been extremely motivating and inspiring, and to have come so far to now be right alongside your hero is really beautiful. Anyway, it just goes to show how big Hamilton's influence is in creating diversity in Formula 1. Just saying. Also, both of them had Senna as their idol, So it all comes together so beautifully. Basically, I think Hadjar is destined to become a world champion. I don't know, just throwing this out there, because it may age very well in like 5 to 7 years time. But anyway, let's get into the actual meat and bones of this video, because if Hadjar is going to be world champion, then there is one tiny little thing standing in the way of that, and that is a potential Red Bull promotion looming, which I know sounds insane, but let's break it down. So I know that Helmut Marko, I think it was Marko, maybe it was Horner, supposedly said that they would give Tsunoda more time to adapt to the Red Bull before they make any changes to their driver lineup. But as we've been seeing in the last few races, Tsunoda is starting to struggle with that second Red Bull car, much like Checo Perez eventually did, much like Albon, Gasly, and everybody who's been in that seat before. And I just know that Red Bull is getting a little bit desperate already to change their lineup, even if they say they're not going to. And of course, they have been eyeing my boy Isack very respectfully. So now because of that, Isack is sort of faced with a pretty crucial problem. We know that the Red Bull second seat is pretty much cursed, and practically nobody except Max Verstappen has been able to drive that car since the days of Danny Rick. So if Isack were to join Red Bull, he risks potentially not doing well in the car, and it would sort of tarnish his reputation as a talented Formula 1 driver. But if he stays in VCARB, then it limits his possibilities of advancing his career, thus also tarnishing his reputation as a talented F1 driver. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a catch-22. Whichever way you look at it, Isack Hadjar is practically doomed. However, let's discuss a little bit the pros and cons of each choice, because you'll notice pretty quickly that one is actually significantly worse than the other, at least in the short term. Let's start with the possibility that Isack Hadjar gets promoted to Red Bull within 2025. Marko just gets tired of Tsunoda and they promote Isack instead. Could Isack say no to this promotion offer? Probably not. Presumably not. I don't think he has much of a say about it. He's just a driver, and the RB bosses are the RB bosses. So I don't think you can really realistically say no. I also think it would be bad because he is part of the Red Bull Academy, and in theory, the goal of every Red Bull Academy driver is to eventually drive for the Red Bull team. So of course it would really sour his relationship with Red Bull if he had been given all of these opportunities by them only to eventually then say, no thank you, I don't want to drive for y'all. And then of course the other obvious downside with the move is that there is no evidence that Isack would be any better in the second Red Bull car than Tsunoda or Lawson or anybody else. There is just simply nothing that would suggest that that would be the case. It's just so much of an issue with the car itself at this point that I don't think it matters who's driving it, really. I mean, the fact that so many drivers that with all of these different backgrounds, experiences, driving styles, have all tried and failed in the second Red Bull seat, I think pretty explicitly says that it's not the driver, it's the car. And on that point, I will actually add that I do think it's funny that now that Red Bull is struggling again with their second driver, not only are people wanting Isack Hadjar to drive in that car, but I've also seen a lot of people begging for Checo to come back and saying, oh my god, Checo, we were wrong about you. It was never your fault. And I'm just sitting over here like, took y'all long enough? Because why are some of y'all always so quick to blame the second Red Bull driver? The minute their performance goes wrong, immediately some of y'all are like, oh, this driver sucks, we need to get him out of here. When we know full well by now that it's the car that's cursed. That seat has been cursed since like 2018. I don't know, last year when Checo was not doing well, it was always so baffling to me that people hated on Checo so much. Like, sure, yes, his performance was disastrous, but he kept repeating in every single interview that it was the car, that the car was absolutely fucked, that Max was getting different upgrades in the car than he was, and that the team clearly did not prioritize his car at all, which led to some of the really bad results that he was having. I truly don't think it was really fully his fault, just like I don't think that it's Yuki's fault either. Liam Lawson, I don't know, he kind of went into the season being all cocky, like, oh, I'm gonna be better than all of you, and then he lasted 2 races. So jury's still out on how I feel about him, but realistically, probably also not his fault. Liam was way in over his head, and you know, what happened happened. And I do think that Isack is aware of this, because lately, like in interviews, he always says that he would not refuse the call, but lately he's been sort of like prefacing that message by saying, oh, I'm really happy where I am right now, which I take it as sort of a sign that he knows that he's pretty screwed if he gets the call up. He could potentially underperform on purpose so that Red Bull stop looking at him, but that would be absolutely nuts. I mean, how insane is the idea that the supposedly the better team has such a god-awful car that it's low-key better for you to underperform on purpose so that you don't get promoted. Like, that's genuinely bonkers. So overall, I don't think it's really on Isack, because there's not much he can do. It's really more on the team. They need to make good on their promise to keep Tsunoda around for a little longer and not jump the gun the second that he doesn't perform so well. Also, important to note, we have the 2026 regulations coming up, because hopefully there'll be a little bit of a reset and the Red Bull will be a little bit more forgiving, and hopefully Tsunoda will be able to extract more power from the car. Although with the whole Red Bull splitting ties with Honda thing, I don't really know how long Tsunoda is going to be able to stay at the team, but assuming he does, hopefully it's a good opportunity to take advantage of a blank slate car. So yeah, I do think that even though both sides are flawed, I think it's definitely much safer for Isack to just stay in VCARB right now. I think Red Bull should not get near him anytime soon, because practically there's only like one downside to Isack staying in VCARB, and it's that he might end up suffering kind of the same fate as Yuki Tsunoda, like becoming sort of this benchmark driver for every other driver that goes through VCARB to meet and to outperform. I mean, let's remember that Yuki was that driver for years. He was stuck in VCARB for like 4 years, and had Liam Lawson not done such a terrible job, he probably would still be in VCARB. He would have never gotten promoted to Red Bull. But again, this would be like if Isack had to stay in VCARB for many years. But I do think that if he keeps up the performance that he's been having so far, he won't have this problem. He's going to get promoted eventually. And also, like, VCARB is also a team of their own, you know? Like, yeah, they're Red Bull's second team, but they're also their own team with their own goals and their own ambitions and their own targets that they need to hit. I mean, currently they're kind of in a battle with Haas for 6th place in the Constructors' Championship. They're gonna need good drivers on their team too, at least for a period of time before they maybe go to Red Bull. So what are the best options for Isack right now? I mean, obviously there's always the option of getting poached by a different team outside of the Red Bull ecosystem. I don't know what team would be doing this right now, but maybe Audi would change their lineup once they stop being Sauber. I don't see why they would, but you know. And then of course there's Cadillac, right, coming in next year. I do think Isack Hadjar is a very unlikely option for Cadillac. I've not really heard his name being floated around in the Cadillac conversation, but you know, I guess potentially it's an option. But maybe not right now, but maybe a few years down the line, if a seat does open up, I think a lot of teams would be interested in Hadjar, especially some of the more midfield teams like maybe Haas or Alpine or one of those. But I do think the simplest option right now is to just let Isack finish the year at VCARB and then maybe promote him in 2026. Because maybe with the new regs, the RB will finally be in a good place and it'll be a lot more manageable for Isack. Also, giving Isack a year in VCARB, his first year in Formula 1, let's remember, it would give him time to sort of polish up his driving style and sort of erase some of the mistakes that he makes sometimes, you know, like overshooting a corner, miscalculating a little bit, you know, like those kinds of things. It's good for him to spend more time with an easier car so he can sort of get a hang of Formula 1 and then eventually get up there with the big dogs. But yeah, I'm honestly totally confident that one way or another, Isack Hadjar is going to make his way to one of the top teams, and I am so excited to see what he's going to do. I really would love to see him as world champion. Am I getting ahead of myself? for sure. It's literally not even been half a season with him in Formula One, but I love him already, and I wish him the best, and I want Christian Horner and Helmut Marko to stay the fuck away from him with a 10-foot pole. If I ever meet Isack Hadjar, I should gift him a 10-foot pole so he can keep it to keep away Horner and Marko. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just having fun here. So anyway, I just wanted to get my thoughts out there about the whole Hadjar situation because I think it's a very interesting dilemma and one that there isn't really an easy answer to. And as always, let me know in the comments what you think about the situation. Are there any other answers that you think are possible? What are your overall thoughts on Hadjar? Do you like him? Do you not? And lastly, a quick reminder that, like I said last week, next week's videos on the Canadian Grand Prix might be a little bit delayed on account of I will be at the race. I will be on the track. Maybe not actually on the track, but I will be at the track. Somewhere. So it might take me a while to film and edit some videos, but I will try to film what I can at the track and maybe show you guys. Stay fueled and do your laundry. You know you've been putting that off. Go do it. What am I now, the P1 podcast giving you chores? I don't know. Just roll with it.